Alexandra Levine welcomes you to the Alexandra Levine Live Podcast. Today, we've got a packed show, from breaking news to informative topics that will keep you well informed. Tonight's Alexandra Levine Live Podcast starts
Well, hello, everyone. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. You are all in tonight with me, Alexandra Levine. We have some major breaking news coming out of the White House a couple hours ago in regards to aliens. Let's put up the first image. So, Admiral Donald Trump at the White House, he dropped an alien arrest tracker. And this was actually reported by my friend Eric Dougherty. So over 3.1 million have already been encountered, aliens. An interactive map has been launched with data on where they've been caught and which crimes they committed. Cue the meltdowns. Quote, for 60 years, the U.S. government has kept a closely guarded secret. Aliens have been walking among us, living in our neighborhoods, and interacting with us in our daily lives. President Trump was the first to call out the real danger aliens pose to every American family, every community, and the future of our nation. Now, my question to my audience, is this the aliens, like aliens of Mars arrest, or is this illegal aliens that he has been talking about for a long time? So what President Trump is doing at the White House is they're dropping an illegal alien arrest tracker to track all of these illegals. As you know, under the Obama administration and the Biden-Obama administration, with George Soros included and others, there was millions and millions of illegals flocking over the border into our country. We had illegal terrorists coming into our country from Syria, from Afghanistan, from Lebanon, etc. So this way, with this alien arrest tracker, we will be able to track who is legal and who is not. But I can tell you that people are all about the UFOs and the aliens. I was told years ago that if a real life alien came into the household, the person has the God-given right to shoot them dead, because we don't want aliens taking over Americans and living on American soil. But again, to my audience, do you believe in extraterrestrial ET aliens, or does this have to do with illegal aliens? That is a really great question. Moving on to the second breaking news. This is really important. This has to do with that crazy woman, E.J. Carroll. Now, remember, E.J. Carroll, she came up with this cockamamie story stating, and this was like in the 90s, that President Trump, and he wasn't the president at the time, he, for some reason, like stumbled upon her at Henry Bendel, which is a very like high-end store off Fifth Avenue, which is close to Trump Tower. And in that store, she claimed that he molested her, he raped her in the store. I mean, the whole thing was just asinine. Now, I've been to Henry Bendel. I've been to Van Cleef & Arpels. It wasn't Henry Bendel. It was Bergdorf Goodman, excuse me, for the record. So she claimed that he raped her in a changing room at Bergdorf Goodman. Now, I've been to Bergdorf Goodman. Everybody knows President Trump. President Trump actually owned Van Cleef & Arpels, and he owned Henry Bendel, and he owned parts of Bergdorf Goodman. So if Donald Trump went into Bergdorf Goodman, you don't think people would have stopped and taken a picture of him and say, hey, Donald, how are you? He just randomly walked into the store and randomly met this woman. I mean, the whole story was so asinine. And then she goes on Anderson Cooper, and she talks about how rape is sexy. She talked about it so much to the point where Anderson Cooper couldn't get her into a commercial fast enough because what she was saying was so stupid. And of course, with liberal judges, Biden judges, Obama appointed judges, you know, they threw the book or tried to throw the book at President Trump, and they wanted him to pay a buttload of money for this woman. Well, of course, President Trump and his team took it to the appeals court. And actually, my good friend Alina Habba was working on this case. And they took it to appeals court, and of course, they proved no evidence. And of course, because President Trump is the president, everything that he was accused of has been completely exonerated. So now President Trump is working with his legal team, and he's pushing for Miss E. Jean Carroll to face criminal perjury charges. And this criminal perjury probe involving Democrat MAGA donors. So what they're proving is that these Democrat MAGA donors paid this woman to push this false narrative, this false story against President Trump, I knew it was false. A lot of people knew it was false. There's a lot of women that lied and said that President Trump molested them. I mean, again, there would have been cameras. Somebody would have seen Trump with this woman. I mean, the whole story was just completely asinine. And remember in the debates, President Trump talked about how she named her cat Vagina. She named her dog like crazy names. Like, this woman is completely and totally insane. And she did this for attention seeking. I mean, it's disgusting. It's completely disgusting what the lengths that this woman went to try to hurt President Trump. Thank God that this woman is going to face criminal perjury charges, hopefully, involving Democrat MAGA donors. And we'll find out who those Democrat MAGA donors were to this woman. Third breaking news. As you know, we have been looking into this Senate runoff race for the United States Senate. Incumbent John Cornyn was running against the Attorney General, Ken Paxton. I endorsed him, and my network endorsed Ken Paxton. We were hoping to God that President Trump would endorse Ken Paxton, which he did. And it was because of the Save America Act. John Cornyn didn't move the needle with Senator John Thune to pass the Save America Act. Ken Paxton even said, I will step down. I'll say, hey, I'm not going to run. I'm not going to continue running if John Cornyn will pass the Save America Act. Well, nothing happened. And as we know, John Cornyn is a huge rhino. He had a lot of rhino money and Democrat money into his race. Ken Paxton is 100% conservative. CPAC endorsed him, which is run by Mercedes and Matt Schlapp. And because of President Trump's endorsement, it helped get him over the hurdle. And he did a complete shellacking to John Cornyn. He won like 62-39. It was a complete landslide. So after his win, Real Donald Trump wrote, and this was Tuesday night, congratulations to Ken Paxton on such a tremendous win, and to John Cornyn for having run a strong and powerful race, but more importantly, having had a truly great career. John will remain my friend for a long time to come, as we both watch Ken become a fantastic common sense senator, one who is respected by all. His opponent, Alfred E. Newman, may be the worst Texas candidate I've ever seen. A strong open borders advocate, he's weak on crime, believes there are 6 genders, is insulting to Jesus Christ, will never support the military, was a big mask wearer until recently, and is a vegan who dislikes meat. Not exactly a good way to be if you're wanting to win an election in Texas. Jasmine Crockett, a very low IQ individual who has no relationship to the legendary frontiersman Davy Crockett, would have been a far better choice for the Democrats. I will do some nice, big, beautiful rallies for Ken. Texas, this will be fun. God bless America, President DJT. I love how he does a come together moment in this truth. He's, thanking John Cornyn for his, support over the years, for being a good friend. And he's asking John Cornyn to come together with Ken Paxton and him to make Ken Paxton the next U.S. Senator. Now, keep in mind, John Cornyn is a rhino. John Thune is a rhino. The rhinos and the Democrats are actually doing everything they can to make sure that President Trump's person, Ken Paxton, doesn't get in. If you hear the mainstream media, they're screaming, oh my God, now Texas is in play for the Democrats. Now Texas has a chance to get a Democrat senator. I don't think so. Texas is red. Texas is deep red. You got Greg Abbott in there. You got Ted Cruz helping out. And I really hope that John Thune will come together and work with Ken Paxton and the president to push him through. Congressman Wesley Hunt, he endorsed Ken Paxton recently. All these rhinos are out, like Dan Crenshaw. John Cornyn's out. It's time for the rhinos to say, you know what? I'm a crappy person. I really shouldn't have gone against Donald Trump. Maybe if I work with Donald Trump, I'll end my career on a good note. This is the time, guys, for Republicans to come together, especially for the midterms. We want to keep this Senate seat red. We don't want it to flip. And the only way we can do that is if we have the support of John Cornyn and others. So John Cornyn, whatever you are planning on doing, whatever type of demise you're trying to do against President Trump and Ken Paxton, don't do it. We'll find out about it. We'll report it. Even though you're done, you still have till January. You still have till Ken Paxton comes in. You're still a sitting senator right now. But it is your duty also to cater to your constituents, even the ones that didn't vote for you this time around. And the last breaking news. This has to do with the Democrats. So at Real Donald Trump, he writes, congratulations to the Democrat Party. Al Green, one of the most mentally deficient congressmen in the history of our country, has lost in a landslide his seat in Congress. But I will miss that lunatic not screaming and violently waving his cane at me during my next State of the Union speech. Make America Great Again, God Bless America, President DJT. If you remember wasn't the State of the Union, but it was a presidential address, Al Green, he got up and screamed and shouted, and he's from Texas. And actually, the House Speaker, Johnson, he kicked him out. He removed him because he was unruly. Now Al Green is gone. Jasmine Crockett is gone. Again, all these socialist Democrats, these rhino Republicans are leaving because of Donald John Trump. Do not mess with the man in the White House. As I've said before on this program, and I'll say it again, President Trump's endorsement is the most powerful endorsement right now for the nation. And it has worked for the world as well. When you get an endorsement from President Trump, it is a powerful endorsement. People need to understand that. But you know what? If you go against the president, if you're not loyal to him, he'll get rid of you. And he has showed. And he has not, the actions are there. They're not just words. That's President Trump. He's all action. When he tells you he's going to primary your ass out, he's going to primary your ass out. And as you know, Mr. Massey is no longer a congressman in Kentucky. Now, Mr. Massey came out and said, well, I'm going to primary out the incumbent congressman, the guy who beat me, in 2028. Why are you still making noise? Why do you still want to be relevant? You had your chance, you blew it. You're a moron anti-Semite that continued to go against President Trump, that just voted no on everything. Lauren Boebert, your sidekick, she's going to be out of Congress soon. She's a whore. Your other sidekick, Marjorie Taylor Greene, another whore, is out. She's in Costa Rica, to the point where she's such a whore that she whored her way to get her fiance, who works for Real America's Voice, who was a White House correspondent with me in the White House, by the way. He decided to revoke his White House press credentials to go live in Costa Rica with her to work on their wedding together, which was, in my opinion, the dumbest and stupidest thing to do, because it's so hard to get those White House press credentials, and she's not worth it. It's marriage number 2 for both of them. It'll probably be divorce number 2 for her, because she's such a whore. I mean, we need to, not we, but once we get these whores out of Congress and out of the Senate, keep them far away. I don't want to hear their names. It's called out with the old, in with the new. It's very, very important that we have the right people in office, people that support President Trump and his agenda, and that we call out the whores how we see them. Now we go into segment 1. So segment 1 kind of stems into what I was talking about with Trump's endorsement record. So let's put up the first image. So this is really important. Again, this shows the Trump endorsement tracker. So President Trump has endorsed 9 U.S. Senate candidates, and 9 out of 9 they've won. President Trump has endorsed 101 United States House of Representatives. Some are incumbents, some are not. 101 to 101. And then for governor, some are incumbents, some are not. Endorse 8 out of 8. That shows you, again, the power of this man's endorsement. And he is being very critical, and he's also being very particular who he endorses, because A, he doesn't want to alienate his base, but B, he wants to get the right person in. Now, I know for the state of Kentucky, people are upset that this garbage guy, or this guy that owned a waste management company, he was running for the U.S. Senate in Kentucky, and President Trump told him to step down, and he prompted up Andy Barr. And people are like, well, Andy Barr's a rhino. He's a Mitch McConnell light. He's actually not as bad as people think he is. He's not a John Thune. And again, President Trump was looking at who can win. He wants winners. He wants people that can win. He wants people that have a little bit of experience in the White House, or not in the White House, I'm sorry, in Congress or in legislation and so forth. And as a result, Andy Barr, he won the primary, and he will go on to become the new U.S. Senator in Kentucky. Mitch McConnell's out. And what did that young guy do? President Trump said, step down, become a brand ambassador. Being a brand ambassador is not a bad job. People are like, oh my God, it's long-lived. You don't make that much. You know what? Actually, depending on who's in power, sometimes you can be there for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. It doesn't matter. And after you're a brand ambassador, you have the option to go back into the government side. If you want to be, if you're a congressman, or if you're a state senator, or if you're a governor and you became a brand ambassador and you're done after 2 or 3 years, you can go back and go back to public office again, or you can go into the public sector, or you can just retire, enjoy life. But being a brand ambassador is not a bad gig. You're treated like a king in your own castle. You have 24/7 chefs. You have someone making your clothes for you, someone cooking for you, cleaning for you. You have servants galore. You have all these advisors around you. You are literally treated like a king in the capital of the country that you are serving. Now you're serving America, but you're the ambassador to that country through America. And because of the trade agreement and the ties between America and the country that you're in. So like, for example, like my good friend, State Senator Doug Mastriano, he was nominated to be the brand ambassador for Slovakia. So he would be living in Bratislava once he's confirmed. And he's representing America, but he's living in Bratislava, in the capital. He's doing the bidding of America through Donald Trump and other advisors, but he is being treated like a king, or he will be treated like a king in Bratislava. Because when you are an ambassador to the United States and you're coming to someone else's country and you're living in their castle and you're living in their capital, you're adhering to their way of life too. But they respect you because you're a brand ambassador. There is some respect there. Yes, you don't write bills, but you know what? You're in the history books. You're in the history books too as a congressman or senator, but I'm telling you, as a brand ambassador, you're in the history books a lot more. It's a lot more lucrative job. You don't have to deal with so much bureaucracy and propaganda and backstabbing. Again, you're not in charge of writing bills or passing bills or any of that drama. You're in charge of supporting and protecting the alliance between that country and America. And Slovakia, as you know, is very conservative. They have a brand new president who's very conservative, and they're trying to keep the alliance between Hungary and Slovakia. Now, Hungary has a new prime minister and a new president. And I've heard 50-50. Some people like him, some people don't. He's doing some good things. He's doing not so good things. So I'm very proud that my friend Doug Mastriano is in this position to keep that alliance strong in case the new prime minister from Hungary causes trouble and havoc. But again, guys, President Trump is making decisions that will benefit we the people. I always say, trust the man, trust the plan. I love President Trump now than I ever did. I support him 100%. I am extremely loyal to the man. I've seen so many of his so-called supporters turn on him, call him names, say he's being stupid. Why doesn't he give people credit for wanting to release the Epstein files and all this other crap? He's the president of the United States. Look, we put up with Barack Hussein Obama for 8 years and 4 years of an auto pen president. And nobody in the Republican Party really bitched. But when it comes to President Trump, the bitching is just insane. I've never heard such bitching in my life. And people jump on every little thing and every little word that President Trump does and says, instead of taking a step back and thinking, maybe he didn't mean it that way, or maybe he's playing chess, or maybe he just threw that out there. Again, if you really understood President Trump or studied him or really liked him, you would know that what he's doing is not for himself. He's not self-serving. He's working for the benefit of we, the people. Now let's go to the second image. So the second image focuses on the Save America Act that has yet to be passed. And this is where Senator John Thune needs to be removed as the Senate Majority Leader. This is where John Cornyn could have really made a dent and might have been endorsed by President Trump if he would have went against his Rhino buddy and said, hey, John Thune, we need I don't know why I say photo ID, we need photo ID. I don't know why I can say voter ID. Photo ID. You need photo ID to vote. Proof of citizenship. No mail-in ballots, with exceptions for military, illness, disability, or travel. Remember, an absentee ballot is very different than a mail-in ballot. As we see what's going on in the state of Maryland, they sent out 500,000 mail-in ballots. A bunch that went to Democrats, not Republicans, but 2 or 3 of them went to Democrats. So Democrats are sending in 2, 3, 4 mail-in ballots, which is illegal, by the way. And you have a tracker. So the Republican mail-in ballots were fine, but when the Democrats were receiving 4, 5, 6, 7 mail-in ballots, everybody just kept filling them in, dropping them off at the mailbox or mailing them. Then there was commotion. They said, we're throwing out those 500,000 mail-in ballots. Those are fraudulent. But we're going to send you an additional 500,000 ballots. We're going to send you a new batch of 500,000 ballots. And those are going to be the ones that are going to be counted. Now, how do they know the difference between the old ones and the new ones? Apparently, they have a tracker to tell you. I swear, I hope to the Lord that people listen to me when I say, don't submit those mail-in ballots. Don't drop them off in a mailbox. Don't even deal with them. Those first 500,000 mail-in ballots have already been submitted. They've already been dropped for some people that have already filled them out. If you received the first one and you didn't fill it out and you received a second one, do not fill the second one out. Go in person, vote early. In Maryland, early voting starts June 11th through the 18th. I've advised every single Republican to vote early, to go in drones, to make it too big to rig. Now, the issue in Maryland is there are more Democrats than Republicans, but there's more independents than Republicans and Democrats. So this helps more, obviously, in the general. But I can tell you, with Maryland, and we saw this in 2022, the conservative Republicans, the Trump-supporting Republicans, outweigh and outnumber the rhino Republicans in the state of Maryland. I know this for a fact. So all you hardcore conservative Trump Republicans, you guys are the ones that don't do mail-in ballots. Go and early vote. Do not wait till June 23rd. Do not wait till the primary date. Go on June 11th, 7 a.m. That's when the polls start, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And make sure that your vote counts. I can't believe that I know Republicans in Maryland that filled in a mail-in ballot and dropped it off. Again, absentee is a completely different ballgame. It's different. A mail-in ballot means that you decided you didn't want to go to the polls on the day or early voting for whatever reason, and you filled out a ballot and you mailed it in, or you went to a drop box. And again, if you saw the documentary by Dinesh D'Souza, 2000 Mules, you saw there was multiple people putting in multiple different ballots for other people and for themselves. Again, in Maryland, the Democrats had the opportunity to fill out mail-in ballots 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And I contacted the State Board of Elections. I contacted the Baltimore County Board of Elections. I contacted the MD-GOP. They say they're on top of this. President Trump said we're going to have a criminal investigation. Harmeet Dillon, who is a civil rights attorney with the DOJ, who specializes in election integrity, with her friend Eric Neff, is supposed to be doing something about this. If Eric Neff and Harmeet Dillon do nothing about this, they should step down and resign, or they should be thrown out. Harmeet Dillon, I want to have faith in you, girl. I want to have faith that you will make sure that the midterms are free and fair. Eric Neff, the same for you. Both of your jobs are on the chopping block because the people of Maryland and nationwide are looking at you. I'll be honest with you, Harmeet. I was not impressed with you in Arizona. I was not impressed with you in Nevada. I was not impressed with you with some states in Georgia that you did not fight for in 2020. You did not fight enough for President Trump. I want you to step it up as the civil rights attorney, the assistant deputy. That is what you are. You're the assistant deputy of the DOJ. I know your title, and I know Eric Neff's title too. And I know all the people that work under you. You need to step it up, and you need to be on top of the situation. Go to Maryland immediately and fix this before early voting on June 11th. And I know people that I can contact that work with you, work under you, work beside you to make sure, Miss Harmeet Dillon and Eric Neff, that you get the job done for the people of Maryland and for the people of this country. Because if not, you are part of the problem. That means you're losers and you like to lose. President Trump doesn't like to lose. We are not going to lose to Hakeem Jeffries. We are not going to lose to the Democrats. Look at President Trump endorsing all these people, all these conservatives, getting these rhinos out. Where the hell have you been, Harmeet? And where the hell have you been, Eric Neff? Where have you been? You should be working the polls, getting your attorneys in there. That is your job, to make sure that your attorneys are there, that we have free and fair elections. I know your jobs and I know them well, and I know you didn't do a good job in 2020, and you did even a worse job in 2022. Now, 2024, you kind of redeemed yourself a little bit, but it was the American people that kept your jobs and your asses afloat. It was not you. Do not take the credit for President Trump getting reelected in 2024. I will never give you guys credit. It is President Trump and we the people's credit, 100% all the way, grassroots all the way. And that's not an opinion. These are facts. These are 100% facts. Because as a campaign manager and a political consultant, my job is to go to the polls, is to watch them count, and you were not there. And there were some good people that should have been in office, but because you gave up, and you didn't give a darn, and these were liberal states and liberal counties and liberal districts, you took the money, you took your paychecks, and you ran. And you cashed them in, didn't you? Harmy Dillon, you got a brand new face, new pearls, new hair, a new Swarovski, new Mikimoto pearls, a new Gucci bag, Ferragamo. Eric Neff, you got a new pair of shoes, a new haircut, new skin. You got a facial. Maybe Harvey Dillon get a little bit of Botox fillers. That's the money. That is our taxpayer monies, or our taxpayer dollars that went in to try to secure the election. I'm begging you guys to do your jobs this time. I'm begging you. Harmy Dillon, I know for a fact that you did not write the horrendous letter about what's going on in Maryland. You know why I know? Because you didn't do your research, and you put that the primary election in Maryland is June 3rd, not June 23rd. And you had tremendous grammatical mistakes. I know that whole entire letter was a rush job, and I know the people that wrote it. Disgusting. You should replace the letter, and you should write it personally, Harmy Dillon, with the right facts, with the right day of the primary election in Maryland, and get your ass down there. And I hope to see you down there June 11th, and I hope to see you down there June 23rd. And if I don't, you're just going to get called out. Not by me, by Marylanders. So be prepared to have your phone lines open. Be prepared to answer text messages and emails. Eric Neff, your email has been sent all over the state of Maryland, and I know for a fact people have been contacting you. You don't respond to them. I know. I know who you've responded to and you haven't. I know. So do your jobs and do your due diligence, because the American people are tired of it. We are tired of going into these elections and they're not free and fair. And Maryland, as you know, is notorious for failed elections and fraudulent elections. And again, President Trump doing everything on his own. There's some real interesting people that are running for the governor of the state of Florida. Now, my governor is Ron DeSantis. He's term limited. I can tell you there will never, ever be another governor like him. Even if Byron Donalds becomes the governor of Florida, he is no Ron DeSantis. I can tell you that 100%. But after this whole primary in Texas, President Trump took it upon himself to re-endorse Byron Donalds for governor. Let's put up that slide. So at Real Donald Trump, highly respected Congressman Byron Donalds is running for governor of Florida, a state that I love and won big in 2016, 2020, and 2024. I know Byron well, have seen him tested at the highest and most difficult levels, and he's a total winner. Byron has a great wife, Erica, and 3 beautiful sons. They're very proud of him. As governor, Byron will have a big voice and work closely with me to advance our America First agenda. He will fight tirelessly to help keep our borders secure, stop migrant crime, strengthen our military, protect our veterans, advance American energy dominance, cut taxes and regulations, promote Made in the USA, and defend our always under siege Second Amendment. Byron Donalds will be a truly great and powerful governor for Florida and has my complete and total endorsement. He will not let you down. Now, Byron Donalds is very up in the polls. He's up 42% above his other opponents. And as you know, Florida did a whole redistricting. Debbie Wasserman Schultz's congressional district is in play, as well as Frederica Wilson and many, not Lois Lane, Lois Lerner. So all these Democrats that are congressmen, because of the redistricting, a lot of their districts are going to be flipped to Republican. And that's what we want. We want Florida Republican across the board. Now, Governor DeSantis, he did not endorse Byron Donalds. He endorsed his lieutenant governor, who's running, who is former military. There's a guy named Paul Renner, who I've heard very good things about. He is a businessman. And then you have a moron anti-Semite Jewish guy named, his last name is Fishback, who has been probing Byron Donalds. He said some very racist things. He was endorsed by Nick Fuentes and endorsed by Congressman Matt Gaetz. And as you know, those two guys have become completely anti-Semitic. He was also endorsed by Tucker Carlson, also endorsed by a lot of anti-Semitic groups in the state of Florida. Now, the state of Florida has a lot of Jewish people. 300,000 Jews live in the state of Florida. A majority of them are Democrat, but I can tell you, the Democrat Jews, they vote Republican. I can tell you because of my #Jexit organization, we have literally changed, or I should say advised, a lot of the Jewish Democrats to #leave the Democrat Party and become Republican, which we've done significant amounts in Sarasota County, in Miami-Dade, Broward County, and Palm Beach. Now, Palm Beach, Broward County, Miami-Dade it's the third biggest and largest counties that have the most influx of Jews. Sarasota County, where I'm born and raised, they are starting to get a lot of Jews, especially in the last several years. And those are Jewish people that have come from Virginia, from Maryland, from New York, from New Jersey, et cetera. In Ohio, they've either become snowbirds or they are permanent residents. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see, because when I was brought up in Sarasota, there was like hardly any Jews. Like Jews couldn't even own businesses in Sarasota. Like it was hardcore red, very, very Christian, very redneck. And there was like maybe a handful of Jews. Like there was hardly any Jews in Sarasota at the time. But I have a lot of family members, a lot of friends that are very skeptical of Byron Donalds being the governor, because they just don't feel that he can beat the Democrat in the general. They feel that he's not as strong as Ron was or is. And, you know, there's been obviously some scandals with him. There's been allegations and accusations that he's had multiple affairs on his wife. And like, we're tired of it. Like, again, we're tired of the whores in Congress. We don't want a whore as our governor. And I've met the guy. He's a nice guy. He's very nice, but he does cater to a certain demographic. He is very pro-Israel, but I personally haven't seen him at a synagogue. I personally haven't seen him really comment on religious holidays like Shavuot, which was a big one that just happened, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, etc. Like the Jewish community is looking more for him. Ron DeSantis is very pro-Israel, and the Jewish people of Florida, Democrat, Republican, Independent, love him. And the people in Israel love Ron DeSantis. I don't get the same love in Israel for Byron Donalds, and that bothers me a lot. And now people are going to be like, oh my God, you're Israel first, you're Israel first. No, as a Florida governor, we have a trade agreement with Israel. It's called FIBA, the Florida-Israel Business Accelerator, which Senator Rick Scott put into place when he was governor in 2007. This is a very important agreement. Ohio is now starting to put it in. Each state passes a bill stating how they're going to work with Israel. And that has to do with the 1948 treaty with Harry Truman and my cousin, Moshe Sharetz, and many others. So it's very important that we do have a governor of Florida that has a strong alliance with Israel and will work with Israel. We have a lot of retired Israeli Defense Force that live in Miami, that live in Boca Raton, that live in Brevard County and Miami-Dade and South Beach. They're voters. We have American Israelis that live in Florida. It's very important that we have a strong governor who will protect the Jewish people and will heavily protect the Christian community, that will protect the legal citizens, the legal Hispanics, the Cubans, the legal Cubans that live in Florida and Miami-Dade. Because Byron Donalds is no Marco Rubio, I can tell you this. So a lot of my friends and family are very concerned about Byron Donalds. And I peg that question to my audience because I have a lot of Floridians that watch my show. Do you feel that Byron Donalds is a strong enough candidate? Now, I know he's going to win the primary. President Trump heavily endorsed him. But my friends and family are very skeptical of President Trump doing a rally for Byron Donalds. Like, they're telling me they don't want to go. They don't feel that he's right for the job. But who else is there? The lieutenant governor, who I have family members that have met him, nice guy, no name recognition, he was appointed. Does he have what it takes? Not really. Paul Renner is a very well-to-do businessman. People say he has what it takes. People like him, very friendly, but he works with a lot of developers. He works with a lot of people that could come in and take your beautiful area and put Section 8 housing in it. I don't think that's him, but you never know. We're dealing with that crap in Maryland. Then you have this Fishback moron who's a racist anti-Semite who's part of the alt-right movement of the Republican Party. He's a Jewish idiot who just recently married some random woman that he dated for 3 weeks. He was like in a long-term relationship with his girlfriend, broke up with her, and then like met this other girl randomly and like married her after like 3 weeks of knowing her. I think he just recently married her. The whole story is bizarre. I mean, that guy is literally just running for like clickbait, name recognition. He knows in the back of his mind he's not going to win. But there was a poll that came out that he's leading, which of course gives the Florida Republicans a bad taste in their mouth, and it makes them not want to go out and vote. I also think that's the reason why President Trump came out with this recent endorsement of Byron, to be like, hey, you need to get out and vote. And look, my endorsement is powerful. Look at all the wins that I have for governor, for Congress, for Senate. So again, guys, this is a very important election. The primary in Florida is not until August, but be very careful who you vote for. Be very careful who gets in. Again, I will be honest. Byron Donalds is no Ron DeSantis. I don't think, in my opinion, that Byron Donalds will do the same job that Ron has done for 8 years. But I know that Ron will be working with him every step of the way. And now I can tell you, my governor ain't going anywhere. His political career is not done. Now, people are saying he may run for 2028. He's looking at a 2028 bid because J.D. Vance said he's not going to run, or he's thinking of not running. I would advise my governor not to run for president because he kind of screwed himself by running against President Trump in 2024. And a lot of people still don't trust him because of that. I think my governor would be a good vice president, in my opinion. I think my governor would be good as a U.S. senator, in my opinion. But I would not run for president in 2028. I don't think it's a wise move. And I want his wife to listen to her husband, to listen to President Trump, to not be greedy, to not listen to donors and special interests and lobbyists, because she is the reason why my governor ran for president. She pushed him to it because she saw dollar signs. And the governor didn't want to say no to his wife. She had just gone through horrible breast cancer. She had a double mastectomy. It's the love of his life. He didn't want to deny her. But what she did to him, she really ruined his political career to be president. It will be very hard for him to come back from that. That's why I advise him not to run for president 2028. Just like put on the brakes, listen to President Trump. Let President Trump guide you on what position you should take when you leave office. So before we go on our break, don't forget we have our big sponsor, FoliumPX.com, toxic heavy metals, full body detox, free radical support. I love these supplements. This is a great time to take them because we're getting into allergy season. Oh my God, I'm so allergic to pollen. My immune system, it's got to kick into gear because of my sinuses, and my throat gets itchy. And as a singer, like I always protect my throat. This is great. If you feel like you're coming down with a cold or sickness, take these right away and up them. You always want to up your vitamin dose when you feel like you're getting sick or when you are sick. So I do that when I feel like I'm getting a tickle in my throat, or I'm sneezing, or I have sinus issues or allergies. This is very good. This also detoxes your body. I just went through Shavuot. I ate so much food in 2 days that I ever have in my lifetime. I ate more for Shavuot than I did for Passover. And I've gained I've gained a lot, but I can feel it. It's like it's sitting there. You get bloated. So after Shavuot, I took this full body detox, and oh my God, like now I can like close my jacket again. Couldn't close my jacket for 2 days. So please, guys, go to fullympx.com. That's the QR code, and we'll be right back after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to the America's Pulse Network. I'm Alexandra Levine. This is Alexandra Levine Live. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We have some great people on. Of course, my loyal friend, Donald Willinger, Jorge Finkelman. You guys are awesome. You're always watching our shows. We appreciate your loyalty to our shows. And, thank you guys so much. Also, I just want to let everybody know we are currently live on about 15 different channels and networks. So we're live on Rumble, on YouTube, on Instagram, on X, on True Social, TikTok, Substack, Spotify, Facebook, Parler, you name it, we're on it. There's so many I can't even remember all of them. You can also go to our website, americaspulsenetwork.com. You can literally watch me live. The beauty of this is you can literally watch me on YouTube, Rumble, and True Social all at the same time. So if you have a family of like 10, if you have a family of 5, have the father watch me on Rumble, have the mother watch me on YouTube. The more people watch and reshare and repost, we appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. We're also expanding our network. We're always looking for more hosts and more guests to be on our show and more podcasters. That's also on our website at americaspulsenetwork.com. And we're also looking for sponsors, whether you want to sponsor my show, Damon's show, The Pulse, or our entire network. Go to americaspulsenetwork.com, click on the sponsorship form, fill that out. We would love to have you on as a sponsor. Well, segment 2 is concerning to me because there's too many people, in my opinion, especially women right now, that have worked for Donald Trump, that are currently working with Donald Trump, that all of a sudden have cancer. And a lot of things are, cancer can be brought up due to stress, due to anxiety, hereditary, if you have eaten a lot of processed foods, if you use a lot of stuff with aluminum, if you heat up your containers, like in a plastic container, like don't ever like heat up your containers in a microwave. That will give you cancer. And I have friends that have cancer and they're on chemotherapy and radiation, and actually makes it worse. They actually end up dying from the chemo, dying from the radiation, because it's just too much poison going into the body. So I'm a big proponent of natural things, as you know, natural remedies. If you do get cancer, stage 1, stage 2, even up to stage 4, there are natural remedies now, old school remedies, before radiation, before chemo even came into play, that can actually reduce your cancer. I have a friend in New Jersey. She's had stage 1 uterine cancer for like 20 years. And it's gone from stage 1 to back to stage 1, but it's never gone above stage 1. And she said, doctors tell her, remove your uterus, remove your uterus. She's like, no, I'm not going to remove my uterus. And she was like in her mid-30s. She wanted to have children. Now she's close to 50. And she's like, I'm not going to remove my uterus. I refuse. So she actually went the all-natural route. She did coffee enemas. She took natural supplements. She went to the rainforest. They say the rainforest is very good. She hung it at botanical gardens. And she's completely vegan. And because she is healthy, and she's also diabetic, and she was able to lose a lot of weight. She's like, I don't even think she's diabetic anymore. She may be pre-diabetic or not diabetic anymore, because she had type 2 diabetes. And she's had a lot of work done too with her body and such, because she's had a lot of issues with her back and so forth. And again, her cancer has either stayed at stage 1, or she's had doctors tell her she doesn't have cancer anymore. So I find it very interesting how the holistic lifestyle, when you go holistic, can really save you, number one, but also it can reduce your cancer to literally nothing. And I say this with a grain of, you can take this with a grain of salt. I am not a doctor, but I do come from a family of doctors. And I work with a lot of holistic doctors. I work with a great acupuncturist. And he's just awesome. And he's helped me a lot with my health, because I used to take a lot of medications for heartburn, for reflux, and I got rid of all of that. And I just started taking natural supplements, like you see with my sponsors. But also I don't go to the doctor as often as I used to. I used to go to the doctor like all the time. Oh my God, I got something, I got this, and then I got to run to the doctor. No, if you just detox, take more of the natural remedies. And I learned that a lot from having COVID, because before I had COVID, I took ivermectin prophylactically. I took a lot of things, hydroxychloroquine, a lot of things prophylactically. 2 years before, for 2 years. So I started it from 2019 to 2021. Didn't get COVID, Baruch Hashem, we say, or knock on wood. And I did end up getting COVID very bad in 2022. And that was because the Delta variant, which was so aggressive, it was more aggressive than the first round, than the Alpha, came out, and they were, the doctors were not pushing the monoclonal antibody treatment Regeneron. They actually were taking them out of hospitals. And I was in Texas at the time, and I had to beg this doctor in Texas to give it to me, because I'm like, I'm going to die here. Thank God I got an antibody treatment. That's what a monoclonal antibody treatment, that's what Regeneron is. It's an antibody. It's not a vaccine. It's an antibody. We as human beings, we have antibodies. We deplete antibodies. We produce antibodies. You need antibodies. And it was so interesting how the minute I got that antibody in my body, how my blood pressure, which was 87/59, which is practically death, within 2 hours went from 87/59 to back to normal to 107/70, which is my norm, by the way. My blood pressure is normally 107 to 70 or 115 to 69, which is very normal. Just from getting a monoclonal antibody treatment. Tells you a lot. And I started taking a lot of supplements after I got COVID. And I had COVID for a month in 2022. In January 2022, I had it for a month. And I started upping my NAC and taking more wormwood, ivermectin, berberine, what's the big one? Zinc, lots of zinc, vitamin C. I was taking melatonin. I was taking all these supplements that you are supposed to take when you test positive for COVID, because when you test positive for COVID, the doctor shouldn't give you anything. So taking those supplements, listening to real doctors, holistic doctors, not doctors that cut you up, not medical doctors so much, but doctors that actually care about their patients, that know what's best for their patients. That's how I survived. And as a result, I've helped a lot of people. When my grandfather got COVID, I saved his life with Regeneron. And there was people messaging me from all over the country saying, I've tested COVID positive. I've been COVID positive for a week. Why don't I have Regeneron? And this was in Florida. So anytime that these doctors did not administer Regeneron to COVID-19 positive patients, I called the Department of Health with Governor DeSantis immediately, and they brought in a strike team and they administered it to them. But Joe Biden comes in and removes all the monoclonal treatment centers all over Florida and across the nation, to the point where people died. And then push remdesivir and Plaxivin, which is a newer drug, which is so bad for you. There's so many bad side effects. And it's a real problem. And people today are experiencing a lot of side effects from all of that crap. And people are dying young now. Average young person going to a cardiologist now is between the ages of 22 to 25. Male. Because of the vaccines, because of the myocarditis. That's permanent, by the way. You get myocarditis, you can't get rid of it. And I hope that YouTube and other channels keep me up, but it's very disheartening that a lot of people they were literally forced against their will, that if they didn't take the jab, they'd lose their job. And when you have kids at home and that's your only source of income, you do what you have to do to survive. And if you're a single mom and this is your only source of income, that you do what you have to do to survive. What upset me was that they were pushing pregnant women to take the vaccine. When you're pregnant, you're not supposed to take anything. Now what I'm hearing, these doctors say, well, if you're pregnant and you have pain, you can take Tylenol. Tylenol, acetaminophen, that's so bad for your liver. And actually, RFK Jr. proved that women that take Tylenol while they're pregnant, their children come out autistic. After I heard that, I stopped taking Tylenol. I take an ibuprofen once in a while, but you can take a baby aspirin when you're pregnant, but Tylenol when you're pregnant? Like I said, you're not really supposed to take anything when you're pregnant. You can take a Benadryl, you can take Zofran for nausea, Dramamine, but Tylenol, ibuprofen, an Aleve has naproxen in it. It's sodium. It actually makes you fat. It gives you extra water weight. You're not supposed to take naproxen when you're pregnant. But a vaccine, something foreign, something not kosher, something that nobody knows what the hell is in it, that's okay if you're pregnant. It's okay. Oh yeah, it doesn't hurt your baby. It doesn't hurt your periods. Oh, you're on birth control and you took the vaccine? Oops, we didn't know you'd get a blood clot. Yeah, they did. Their goal was to hurt the younger generation from newborns all the way up to people ages 45, which is sick and sad. But jobs can be stressful. Life can be stressful. When you go through divorce, when you go through, God forbid, losing a loved one, it can cause massive stress, which can cause cancer. So reports came out recently, and we'll put up the first slide, and that's why I called this segment Cancer Spreading, that former Attorney General Pam Bondi, she was diagnosed with cancer, with thyroid cancer, right after she left her post. So after she was fired from President Trump, she was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And people are questioning, how did she get thyroid cancer? Did she take the vaccines? Was it stress? Doesn't she get annual checkups on her thyroid? Now, she lost a tremendous amount of weight before she became the Attorney General. Maybe she was on a strict diet. Maybe she was on Ozempic, which caused cancer. There's a lot of bad side effects coming out with Ozempic and tirzepatide and all these GLP-1s that everyone's taking, all these weight loss drugs. It's actually really bad for you. If you want to have children, you're not supposed to take GLP-1s 3 months before you conceive or before you're trying to conceive. So if you're trying to get pregnant and you're taking GLP-1s, you're stupid. Get off of them immediately. There's other ways to lose weight. It's called get up off the couch, go to the gym, and stop eating crap. Get a buddy, get a walking buddy, get a dog. If you don't have an animal, invite a bunch of girls and just have a walk around the park or run around the park. If you have a spouse, encourage your spouse to go work out with you. Or if you have a grueling job where you really can't go to the gym, get some equipment in your home. Have a mini treadmill. Have a mini bike. My sister is a workout fiend. She is constantly on a machine. She's a full gym in her house. She works from home. And every time I call her, she's like selling an insurance policy on the treadmill. That girl is constantly moving, and she does not look like she's had 3 children. She looks amazing. She's like the flattest stomach in the history of our family, but also the history of the world. I mean, she looks great. She's very toned, very muscular, no cellulite for having 3 kids. And she wasn't like 20 years old when she had them either. But that's what I'd recommend. But I feel really bad for Pam Bondi and how she's going through this. Other people in Trump's cabinet that have cancer that we know of is Susan Summerall Wiles. She was diagnosed with breast cancer recently. She's working from home, and she is coming in and working in the White House as well, going through chemotherapy, doing whatever she has to do. Someone in the Trump family, Vanessa Trump, who's Donald Trump Jr.'s ex-wife, she was recently diagnosed with breast cancer too, and she's young. She's in her 40s. She had 5 children. Could it be because of the stress of her boyfriend, Tiger Woods? Every other day, the guy's in the news because he crashed his car into somewhere. DUI, DWI. That can be stressful. Maybe the fact that that her ex-husband just got remarried to a 37-year-old model. Well, actually, we found out her father is like is related somehow to one of the bankers. Somebody said he was like related to Epstein's banker, or there's some connection there in the banking world. But that can also be stressful. But it's very concerning to me. It's very concerning to me that these young women and even young men now are getting cancer, either from the vaccines or from what the crap that's in our food, our water. We don't have good water. Our water is disgusting. It's all polluted. I recommend filtered water all the way, osmosis water, they call it. I recommend that all the way. I don't like it. I pray that these women get the proper treatments that they need, don't have to live their life wondering if they're going to have cancer someday or cancer 5 years from now. I feel for them. I really do. And for anyone out there that is attacking these women, that is attacking Vanessa Trump or Pam Bondi or Susan Wiles, shame on you. God forbid you go through what they're going through. God forbid you have cancer. You don't want to wish this on your worst enemy. But when I read about this, to me, it was like too coincidental, too close to home. And it comes in threes also, by the way. This is why I'm a big proponent of what RFK Jr. says about trying to clean all the pesticides out of your food. If you can grow food in your backyard, even better. Take out the seed oils, the synthetic colors and dyes out of your food. And it's also in your skincare and hair care. There's a lot of great brands out there that don't have seed oils, that don't have synthetic colors and dyes, that are vegan, animal cruelty free, that are gluten free. You just have to read the ingredients, and I can recommend some. Again, a big proponent of sunscreen, but it has to be mineral sunscreen with zinc and titanium dioxide. None of the chemical sunscreens. It really affects your face in a bad way. Hair dye, make sure your hair dye has less chemicals. Like I go to an Aveda salon. I get my hair dyed through Aveda. Aveda is all natural. It's vegan. I try to avoid heavy chemical hair dye and try avoiding bleaching your hair, because the bleach can cause a lot of cancers. The bleach is what's really bad. I had my hair colored recently. I had it blow dried and it's still frizzy. That's another story. That's because the blow dryer that the person used was awful. But it's very important, guys, what you put in your body. It's very important what you put in your hair, your face, what you intake. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me, because I'm in the healthcare profession. But I want to take this segment to discuss these women that are important in President Trump's life, but also were important in the country's life. And we say a prayer for them and we wish them well. And we hope to God that they get better. Coming up after the break, don't forget we have our second sponsor, rnc.com/ALL, Richardson Nutritional Center. Get 10% off. Use the QR code, rncstore.com/ALL. You have to type in ALL or you don't get the discount code. It's an automatic. The minute you put in ALL, it's an automatic discount code. Of course, the more you spend, the more you get off. Again, these are natural supplements to help reduce cancer, reduce stress, and many other important things. It's for your wellness. It's there to improve your wellness. These are FDA approved. These are RFK Jr. approved. And as you know, John Richardson has been on my show multiple times. Our show really helps him get out there and promote his products to the point where he's been traveling over the country and the world, writing books, being on TV, really promoting his work. He's done a great job with this, and he has helped a lot of people. Yeah, my friend Don said, tell Richard to get off his program and come on to your show. I wish it was that easy, but I can tell you that Richard does acknowledge us. He recognizes us. I've had a lot of great guests because of him, and I've had another spot. I mean, Foley and PX is one of our sponsors because of him. So I'm very grateful to him, and hopefully we'll have him back on the show. But like I said, he's traveling in the country, the world. He's saving lives. He's improving lives, and we need to get back to him. So rncstore.com/ALL. Don't forget ALL. Get the 10% off discount code. We'll be right back. Don't forget, we are live, Alexandra Levine Live at America's Pulse Network. We'll be right back after the break.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up. Because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. But America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. The New Jersey State House Watch, hosted by Jack Brangan and Constance Detzel. APN's The Pulse is moderated by either Alexandra, Damon, Elena, or Seth. Also tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. Join the revolution because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Well, hey guys, welcome back to the America's Pulse Network. You are live with me, Alexandra Levine Live. This segment's going to be a little bit shorter tonight because we are at the top of the hour. But bylaws and your laws is very, very important. So if you're part of a central committee, and some states have central committees, some states don't. Maryland, for example, has one. Ohio does. There's bylaws. There's bylaws also if you are part of a club. There's also bylaws. So what we're seeing, and especially Maryland, I call it Maryland a lot, is the breakage of the bylaws and how nobody and no one is being held accountable. And it's disgusting. It's completely and totally disgusting. There's a process when there is a central committee member that decides to leave or a county councilman decides to leave. There is a procedure. The procedure is the people that live in that district, they are the only ones that decide who is the replacement. It's not the decision of the public. It's not the decision of the state government or the state GOP. It is not the decision of the chairwoman unless they need her for a tie break. It is the decision of the people that live in that district. It is not the decision of the entire committee. But this Saturday in Maryland, they're doing something very unorthodox and very against the bylaws and extremely illegal. And I was actually at the Central Committee meeting when they were passing this illegal process. So they have this elderly man named Wade Koch, who is a Baltimore County councilman, and he decided to resign before the next election. Now, the way that he resigned was interesting because they had his committee, or his council, I should say, they had just passed a bill to increase the pensions. And it was through a certain time frame. So it was only, so his pension was not going to increase after May 1st. But because he decided to resign May 7th, his pension is going to increase. His salary next year, if he were to stay, is going to kick in, or not kick in, but increase. So right now the man's only making $69,000 a year. That's it. But his pension is going to be $84,000. You following me? The county council, under the Baltimore County executive, they all passed a bill to increase their salaries plus their pensions. So whoever becomes the next councilman next year, instead of them making $69,000 a year, they can make up to $150,000 a year. And they do get a pension after the first 5 to 8 years of being in office. Like you could be there for 5 years, leave, and you still get a pension. You could be there for 8 years, leave, and still get a pension. And not only can you get a pension, the people that work under you also get a pension too. Now, it would be great for them to get their pensions, or not pensions. It would be great for them to get a pay increase if they actually did the work, if they actually didn't work against the will of the people and pass a bag tax and all this other crap. But people are very upset with Wade Catch because he knew that if he retired before May 7th, he wouldn't get that pension increase. And the law had already been put into place. So he figured out a loophole, so that his revoking, oh, there we go. Sorry, I cut out for a minute. Revoking that law. And there's actually Democrats that are talking about revoking the law. Will it go through? We'll see. But the situation is that Wade Catch stepped down. Now they have to fill in somebody. It's called an intern in position until the election, or until the swearing in of the new person. So like I said, the early voting in Maryland starts June 11th through the 18th. The primary election is June 23rd, and then the swearing in will come in January. So this intern in position is from now until January of next year. You get $69,000. So the Baltimore County Republican Central Committee decided to take applications, decided that the public is going to have a say and see who's running for this intern position. The public is going to be asking questions. And it seems to me like the public is going to try to have an influence over the 3 people that are part of the district. Now, actually, I found out 2 out of the 3 people are going to be, or 2 out of the 4 people are going to be present for the voting. And the voting is on Saturday, which is also illegal, in the public eye. The voting is not supposed to be public. The voting is supposed to be private between the people that live in that district. See how this is all illegal? Also, someone who's not in this district is like running the show because he's the head of the subcommittee of rules and regulations. He's actually the one he's the one that decided whose application was good or not, who was qualified and who wasn't, or who met the criteria, which is not his job. It's actually the job of the people that live in the district, and it's not the job of the chairwoman either. But the chairwoman allowed it because the chairman is allowing other county councilmen and elected officials to control her central committee. And the reason that her central committee voted her in was because they knew she could be controlled and manipulated. The woman has dementia. I'm not saying her name. I will not say her name. And I'm not saying anybody's name. But again, my question to my audience, the voters, are you okay with this illegal process? The fact that even though you're invited to an open hearing and you're allowed to ask questions, at the end of the day, you don't have a say and you don't get a vote. But the Central Committee chairwoman and her rules and laws buddy are going to do everything they can to push their person through and to tell the public and to tell the 3 people that are part of the district to vote for that person. Yeah, it does sound like a class action lawsuit. I agree. In my opinion, the Baltimore County Republican Central Committee should have their charter revoked and removed. The fact that the people are allowing this, the fact that the chairwoman broke the bylaws to do this is disgusting and asinine to me. And of course, once that person is voted by the 3 people that are in the district, it goes to the county executive, and the county executive has to sign off. Now, the county executive could reject who the central committee picks, depending on the person they pick. Now, there's a guy named Nino Maggione. Remember his name? He's the cousin of Luigi Maggione. Luigi Maggione is the murderer who killed. I mean, he hasn't been convicted yet, so I shouldn't say that. He is in prison for allegedly and supposedly murdering the CEO of United Healthcare. If Luigi Maggione is convicted, he will get the death penalty. They're pushing for the death penalty. Or actually, I heard he may not get the death penalty. He may be on death row, which is ridiculous. He may even get off because his family's mob. But the Maggione family is a powerful mob family, Italian mob in Maryland. They are good friends with Alexandra, which is AKA Nancy Pelosi. They all work together as one. And Nino is running for Wade Cash's seat. Now, Nino is one of those applicants that is trying to become an interim. People are saying it's not fair if Nino becomes an interim because he's on the ballot running. So that's not fair. So, he's just going to slide in? No, he needs to run, and the people need to vote for him. Now, if they put someone else besides Nino and the people vote for Nino, that tells you something right then and there. But this is a way for other county councilmen to get their way, to put their person in so they can control, manipulate. And they want to put Wade Cash's chief of staff in there. That is the goal. Because again, she's an older woman that can be manipulated. And I heard that she supports Democrats, endorses Democrats, works with rhinos. That's what they want. They want another puppet. Nino is no puppet. He is conservative. He does vote conservative. The issue that people have with Nino is he's never actually written and sponsored a bill. He's never actually got up and stood for something. Yes, he votes conservative. That's great. But stand up and stand for something. Have a backbone. You're a short guy. Don't you have little man syndrome? Can't you just stand up and roar and be that lion? And also, Nino is supporting this guy who has been MIA. I'm not even going to say his name. Who's running for county executive, who's actually bringing Nino down. The guy doesn't know anything. He takes everything from Nino, and meaning ideas and stuff, because he clearly doesn't have a clue, and he hasn't been traveling all over the county. And he really, honestly, from what I saw, he doesn't even want the job. He was just forced in there because they claimed, he can raise $1 million on his own. He's only raised $22,000. He doesn't know how to raise money. He sucks. And he's not going to put $1 million into his own money. I don't even think he has it. So I'm like, Nino, why are you supporting this moron for county executive, this male for county executive, who is bringing you down, doesn't know anything, doesn't know how to raise money, doesn't even want the job? We all know my friend Kimberly Stansberry is the most qualified. That's who I endorse and support. But it's ridiculous to me. So again, rules for thee and not for thee. Rules for me, not for thee. But also the breaking of these bylaws. And how nothing has ever, or I should say nothing has ever happened. Nobody's been held accountable. And if we don't get proper conservatives in there, guess what? The effery of the rhinos and the Democrats will continue. There's a bunch of rhinos in the state of Maryland that are endorsing A.L.L Jr. for governor, who was a Democrat maybe a few months ago, or maybe 5 months ago. He decided to switch parties because he's like, well, I can't primary out Wes Moore, so I'm just going to become a Republican. And I know for a fact I'm not going to win against Wes Moore, but I'm going to put up a fight. Yeah, right. The only person that is the most qualified for governor of Maryland is John Myrick and Brenda Cham for lieutenant governor. I've endorsed them. I support them. I've had them on my program. I'll have them on again before the primary. Great people, and they will bring the balance back to Maryland. They're not far right. They're not far left. They're right in between. And Brenda Cham has legislative experience. She's a teacher. John Myrick has served our nation. His wife continues to serve. His wife is a judge. His wife helps women veterans and also veterans' wives. His wife is an extremely brilliant woman, Nancy. And she's Hispanic too, she's Mexican. So she can really relate to the Hispanic community. John Myrick and Brenda have been very good to the Jewish community. They have not said one anti-Semitic thing. They're very pro-Christian. This other guy running, Mr. Cox, his children are extremely anti-Semitic. They've said the most horrific anti-Semitic things against me, against Jews across this country and the world. They're part of the alt-right Republican Party. They believe that Zionism and Zionists are Satan and pedophiles and should be exterminated. I have the text messages to prove it. I have asked Mr. Cox to completely denounce his son Josiah's comments. Crickets. I've heard nothing from the man. And Dan used to claim he was so pro-Israel, and so did his son, and it turns out it's a huge lie. I will not back and support an anti-Semite. I will not back and support people they're not children. They're grown-ass adults that are anti-Semitic. And his children, his two oldest children, Josiah and Patience, work on his campaign full-time. And if, God forbid, Dan Cox wins a primary or wins the general, he's not going to win the general, but if, God forbid, he wins the primary, his children will be involved in the campaign even more. And I do not want that. I beg the Jewish people, I beg the Jewish Republicans to vote for John Myrick, to vote for Brenda Cham. I've encouraged a lot of the Orthodox Jewish community in Baltimore County, Baltimore City, Montgomery County, and Howard to vote for Brenda and for John Myrick. Please do it. It's the best decision. You do not want anti-Semites or fake Christians, as we call them, in high positions of power. I will not stand for it. I know everyone's like, oh, Dan is a great guy. Well, you know what? Underneath it all, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. John Myrick and Brenda have been consistent on message from the beginning. They've been touring across the state of Maryland for 2 years. They go everywhere. They go to every forum. They talk to everybody. The fact that Dan Cox got in there to shake it up and screw them is another reason for every single person to stick it to Dan and say, we are not going to accept this crap. You were completely bombed and blown out in 2022 against Westmore, and we're not going to put our faith in you again. You had your chance, you blew it. Dan Cox, in my opinion, needs to go back to lawyering and just leave the political arena. My good friend Chuck Jenkins, who's running for sheriff in Frederick City, who I love, I've been trying to get him on this program, but our schedules have not meshed. He endorsed my friend John Myrick because he knows Dan Cox is a damn snake. Dan Cox can't even win his own county where he lives. Dan Cox lives in Frederick County. He can't even win his own county where he lives. And everyone's like, oh, well, Dan Cox has a delegation experience. He wasn't there that long, maybe 4 years. Brenda Cham has the experience. And because she's a teacher, she will work with me on education. I helped Dan Cox write a resolution for Israel and implementing Holocaust education. But now I know that it was all BS just to get votes, clicks, and likes. That's fake is. That's why it's very important, guys, that we vet our candidates. It's very important that we put the right people in office, people that care about this country, that are not self-serving people. John Myrick already served his nation. He wants to serve the nation again in a different way by serving the people of Maryland. God bless that patriot. I talk about Maryland so much because I'm focused on it so much. My friend Kim, her husband was a Vietnam vet, got Agent Orange. That's what he died of. But he served our nation well. And he calls upon the people of Maryland from his grave to allow his wife to serve the people of Baltimore County in a way that they have never been served before. The right way, the loving way. She lives in a beautiful area in Towson. You can't even go to the Towson Town Center Mall anymore. You can't even go to Towson University as a college student for fear that you're going to be attacked, killed, raped, drugged. God knows what. There's always something happening in Towson. but she will not leave her community. She will not leave her county. And she's got great neighbors, and she's loyal to her friends. And she's a mother and a grandmother. She loves her grandchildren. She loves her children, but she loves the people of Baltimore County the most. That's why she will not leave. Her daughter calls her and says, Mom, come to Ohio. Come stay with us. You don't need all this. I worry about you. Sell the house. Come live in Ohio. She said, no, I'm not doing it. My duty right now is to the people of Baltimore County. I'm not going to give up because they're in dire straits. It's my call by God to do this and to fix Baltimore County and to give them the path to success. I honor a person like that. That is a real patriot, because she's all alone in her home. She's a widow, but she's willing to stay in her home alone and work with the people of Baltimore County, to not go to Ohio right now, but to stay with the people in Baltimore County. I admire that. I think that's very admirable and honorable. But again, going by people that are running for office, let's put up the first slide. Nope, before that. Yep, there we go. And I'm going to talk about this briefly because I know I went a little bit longer than I wanted to. But breaking. So Patterson, New Jersey was from. Patterson, New Jersey used to be a very, very, very Jewish area. Not anymore. It's horrific and it's very Democrat. So Patterson, New Jersey Mayor Andrei Sayegh, who is the son of Syrian and Lebanese immigrants, is set to host a formal ceremony raising the Palestinian flag at City Hall. Again, where's Palestine? There's no such thing. The event is scheduled for June 5th, so that's coming up next week. As part of the city's ongoing cultural heritage celebrations, this does not belong in America. Why is he the mayor? Why is he the mayor? He clearly hates America. Why isn't he raising an American flag? Why is he raising a Palestinian flag? Again, there's such a thing as Palestine. Palestine doesn't exist. Palestine is not on a map anywhere. Please show me where it is. I know there's people that claim they're Palestinian. There's no such thing as Palestine. Please show me on a map. Palestine is not Israel. Please show me on a map. But again, this guy was not heavily vetted. People voted for him. The liberals in New Jersey voted for him in Patterson. He's the mayor, son of Syrian and Lebanese immigrants, probably terrorists. And he's hosting a Palestinian flag ceremony, a formal ceremony to raise a Palestinian flag. And this is allowed. This is considered constitutional. Really? It's disgusting. And now let's go to the second slide. So the second slide disgusted me. This lead singer, who actually used to be good looking at one point. She looks like she's blown up like a balloon. I don't know what she's eating. She makes me not want to eat. She's the lead singer of the Chicks, Dixie Chicks. And she called Trump fugly in social media rant. Fugly stands for effing ugly. Compared to her, President Trump is not an ugly man. President Trump is actually a very good-looking man. President Trump is a very good-looking man, and he was very sexy when he was younger. I still think he looks sexy today. That's me personally. I think he's a very nice-looking man. I am a big proponent of a man that takes care of himself and a man that moisturizes himself and shaves and knows how to put himself together and wears nice cologne and wears deodorant and makes sure his clothes aren't wrinkled and there's no lint all over the place. That's a turn on to me. I vote for somebody like that. But this woman speaks for everybody. She looks like a freaking dyke. Transgender, I don't know who that is. Like, I had to look up what she used to look like. She was actually a very attractive woman, but she's calling President Trump fugly. That's why I say don't listen to celebrities. Don't listen to these crazy lunatic singers. They should stay the hell out of politics because they're really stupid. Very, very, very stupid. But again, my question to my audience, are you going to listen to these people? Are these people going to influence you in the elections? Do you really think that these people give a damn about you? Remember, they take your money for a living. They take your money. They steal your money. Like Bruce Springsteen and all these damn celebrities that are anti-Trump. Remember, Trump was a Democrat a long time ago. He produced a lot of movies too. Worked with Steve Mnuchin, worked with a lot of producers in Hollywood and in New York. Remember Celebrity Apprentice? He had the #1 best show on NBC. I'm not influenced by these morons. Now people say, well, Alexandra, you're an influencer. No, I'm a political consultant. There's a difference. I've been in politics since 2015. I've worked campaigns. I worked the arena. I'm older and mature enough to know what works, who's the right person for the job, who we need, who people should back. And I heavily, heavily vet my candidates that I work with, heavily. I do not just work with anybody. That's why my pool is very small this time, especially Maryland and other places, because I want to focus my energy and time into people that actually know what the hell they're doing and give a crap about the country and give a crap about America and give a crap about their constituents. And they're not bought off and they're not paid. I mean, they're not bought off and they're not bought and paid for. Yeah, Donald Loninger, I support Trump and everyone he endorses. Me too. Yeah, I agree. No one talks about Trump's IQ. His IQ is far above most of the people in our government. It's true. And his wife is very intelligent too, Melania. Very intelligent. So before we close it out, remember, we are in campaign mode. These are the 2026 candidates that I work with, that our network works with, that our network has endorsed and supports. And I have personally donated money to them. I've had other people donate money to them. These are people that are America first, people that President Trump has supported, has retweeted their stuff, and also people that give a damn about our country. The first person is my good friend and always Tim Fazenbaker, who's running for the new district council, Baltimore County Council District number 9. That is the QR code. Go to timfazenbaker.com, make a donation today. He also got a very strong endorsement. Let's put that one up. By my good friend Sean Flaherty, who's running for who's our council member for Hagerstown City Council. Sean Flaherty is also running for office as well, which we endorse. But Sean Flaherty, he said, I'm proud to support Tim to be your next Baltimore County councilman like Hagerstown. Tim knows for Baltimore County to succeed, you need less government, lower taxes, and more transparency in government oversight. Tim wants everyone in Baltimore County to be more competitive, better business climate, while bringing better jobs. Baltimore needs new leadership. Vote Tuesday, June 23rd, or like I said, early voting June 11th. That is amazing that a councilman from someone that doesn't even live in Tim's district. This guy lives in Washington County. Hagerstown is Washington County. It's Republican County. Tim has done some great work in Hagerstown. They love him in Washington County. Tim and I went to Sean Flaherty's swearing in. Sean Flaherty's done a great job on the council, on the city council. And it's from one councilman to another. Thank you so much, Sean, for endorsing Tim. Also, Sean served our nation. He is a military guy, so we have military endorsements too. Sean actually endorsed John Myrick too for governor. Again, military to military, and Sean Flaherty's been a good friend of Brenda James for a long time. Again, loyalty. So thank you, Sean, for your loyalty, for your endorsement to Tim. We greatly appreciate it. Again, go to timfazenbaker.com. Next person we endorse and support, again, I talked about her tonight, Kim Stansberry, running for Baltimore County Executive. She is the only woman running. If elected, she'll be the first duly elected woman county executive. Doesn't matter Republican or Democrat. It goes in the history books. She is picked to win the primary. We need all hands on deck for the general. She's running up against a Democrat machine, a Westmore machine, DNC machine. Baltimore County, again, is been overrun by hilaria, by delinquents, by people that do not give a darn about you. Again, Kim lives in a phenomenal area in Towson, but Towson has gone down the tubes because of the former county executive, the current county executive, and also other members in leadership. So please, guys, go to Kimberly Stansberry, commitment to elect Kimberly Stansberry. That's her QR code, and please give her a donation today. Our next person that we are working with is Daniel Eisenhardt. He is running against the incumbent Rhino, who I'm not going to say his name because he's a piece of crap. Actually, our friend Delegate Bob Long, he called out the incumbent and this other incumbent delegate because they're both rhinos and they're pieces of crap. And they have caused Mr. Eisenhardt a lot of headache. and a lot of pain for his family, and we need to stick it to him. Dan has never, this is the first time Daniel's ever run for public office, and I appreciate him stepping up because it is a tough job, and there's a lot of stress and a lot of emotions that go into this. So please, guys, go in there, vote for State Senate candidate District 6. There's the QR code. Make a donation today. Next person is my good friend Sam Rosenblum, candidate for Frederick County Board of Election. If elected, he will be the second Jewish County Board of Elections. Our good friend Cole Black, he's on there right now. We love Sam. He's an engineer. He's very smart, very intelligent. He loves the kids. He wants to help. He wants to implement full Holocaust education into Frederick County schools. I'll be working on that with him, and we need to get him in. Please donate to him today. Our good friend Jack Felton, who we had on the show, he's running for County Council at Large on Frederick County, Maryland, District 2. He'll be back on before the primary. Great guy. He was going to run for County Council, stepped it up at large. He's making the rounds. People really love what he has to say, and we're very impressed with him. Our next person is my good friend Julie Speedy Perry, running for Congress in the 10th Congressional District. It is Democrat. They say this is the congressional seat to flip. As you know, in the state of Virginia, the Virginia Supreme Court, they got rid of the ridiculous redistricting map. So now this congressional district is definitely into play to flip to Republican. Love Julie. She's very MAGA, very America First. I've been working with her and I've known her for years. Please donate to her campaign today. And of course, we have our good friend Justin Murphy, who's running for New Jersey U.S. Senate. His primary is coming up June 2nd. Is it June 2nd or July 2nd? I think it's June 2nd. We want to put him in there. Very great guy, very smart. He knows the legislation. He knows the role. He looks like a senator. That's his QR code. And he has been working with our good friend, Damon Galdo. Actually, the primary is June 4th for the Senate, or for the Senate race in New Jersey. Our good friend Damon Galdo of the Jersey Shore, running for District 1 of the Congress. He ran unopposed in the primary. Got to get him into the general. He's working with Justin Murphy right now. We love him. We love Damon Galdo. We love what he does. Married with 2 kids. Please, guys, donate to him today. And I mean, Galdo's been everywhere. Actually, I invited him to come on my show tonight, but he's been so busy with events and public events, and I would rather him talk to the people and talk to his constituents to be on my show. But as you know, he's one of the hearts of our network. Without him and without our producer and Seth Eisenberg and others, we wouldn't have a network. So I appreciate everything that Damon Galdo does and everything that he's doing for his children and for his family. So that's it, guys. In regards to donating to our candidates, you do not have to live in the state or the district to donate. I'm a Florida resident. I donate to all these people. I love them. I want them in there. They're good people, and we just got to get them in there. Please, guys, again, don't forget we have the Pulse every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. You never know who the host is going to be. Never know who our guests are going to be. Again, don't forget we have the Jersey Shore every Monday night from 8 to 9 p.m. We have the New Jersey State Watch with Jack Brangan and Constance Sitzel. It is the, I always screw this up. I think is it the first and the third? Yeah, the first and the third Tuesday of every month. I think I'm the second. I know. My producer's writing it to me. Thank you. So they're the second and fourth Tuesday of every month. It's getting a little woof. Second and fourth Tuesday of every month, and then I come on in the interim. I will be honest with you. I will be more on the campaign trail coming up. You'll probably see me live during the day, or what I will do is I will pre-record during the day, and then you'll see what I do at night live. Because I will be in Maryland campaigning hard for Kim Stansberry. Those are the 2 main people I will be working with and campaigning hard for. I will be there June 10th through the 18th, and also June 22nd through the 24th. So I'll be there all of early voting, including the election day. I will be covering full coverage of early voting in Maryland, as well as full coverage of election primary day. And hopefully it'll be a great day, and we'll be celebrating. Tim Kim and I will be celebrating in Maryland, and we encourage everybody to join us in Maryland in the Dundalk area, because that's the heart of the district in Baltimore County, and we would love to see you guys there June 23rd. We would love it. And then don't forget, I'm on every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. America's Pulse Network, don't forget, we are live on 15 different channels. I thank everyone who has been commenting. I know there's a lot of people that watch me that don't comment, but I know for a fact that you watch. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. And the reason you listen and the reason you watch is you are no idiot.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did.
Alexandra, thanks you for watching tonight's Alexandra Levine live podcast. See you at the next packed show, from breaking news to informative topics that will keep you informed. So please click the subscribe button to get notified for upcoming episodes. If you like what the Alexandra talked about, then share the Alexandra Levine live podcast with others. Alexandra also looks forward to seeing you on